Allison, first, thank you so much for doing this interview with me. But more importantly, thank you for putting together, or helping, or being part of putting together such an amazing documentary that I don't think a lot of people know the exact roots of this. Um, but everybody knows the sound. Anybody
Absolutely.
who grew up in my era knows the sound, and and no disrespect to them, the youngins may not even realize what they're some of the things that they're listening to now is because of what we're going to talk about and who this incredible queen is.
Wow.
Please tell me, give me the synopsis of this great documentary that you're a part of.
Well, just that. It's the story of Sister Nancy. She is the vocalist behind the hit Bomb Bomb. Everybody knows the song. And people have sampled this song so many times in hip hop, in dance music, in all kinds of different genres, R&B, and nobody knows the woman behind the voice. And a lot of people didn't even know that she was still alive. So this is the story about her, the making of the song, just like the origination of the song, and also her journey trying to protect her rights, basically.
How did this go into motion for this to be put together, and how did the Queen of Dance Hall, Reggae Dance Hall, even decide? Yeah, I'll let you guys follow me. I'll let you guys tell my story because I have to assume a lot of people have tried to do this,
Right.
and she probably turned them down. But something you all did made this happen.
Well, she has so many different people around the world, supporting her. She's got three main DJs around the world. One is in France, Maddie from Legal Shot, DJ Gravy, who takes care of like what she's doing in the US. And she has a DJ in Canada. His name is Moss Raxlin. And he had somehow gotten a hold of like my work and what we do at Oh Yeah uh, Media Group. And he contacted us. He just, said,
Huh.
"Hey, are you interested in doing, something like this on Sister Nancy, like a documentary?" I think they're still trying to figure it out because he was doing documentaries with Jamaican artists, and so he decided to come to us. And I said, "Sure, let's talk about it." And then one day I was working late, and then he said, "Hey, do you mind if I stop by tonight?" See, sometimes working late works out in your favor. So he came by and he goes, "I really want to do this on Sister Nancy." And I think he said, "It's just as long as she likes you, if she likes you, you could possibly do this." So yeah, he came back again, and then we phoned her up in the office, and we just talked on the phone in the middle of the office. I was like, "What?" And then my staff was around, and my other producer, Gaddy Conte George, was there, and we were just talking to her, and she's like, "I like the vibe of these people. Let's do it." And that's how it
Wow,
happened.
it's incredible. How did, I mean, I don't want to give a lot away on this. I want people to watch this as I watch this. And I think that's very important. But what was it like to get not just the footage, but for her to tell the story the way she tells it? Was that just something that just happened organically? But still trying to find all this footage, how did you find some of these um, pieces of film that a lot of us didn't even know existed, or pictures didn't even exist?
Right. Well, there's so many questions in that one, but one thing with Sister Nancy, she's original, she's I like to call her the anti-celebrity celebrity. Like she doesn't care about like the fluff and all that. She likes the warts and all kind of scenario. Like she likes it raw. She doesn't like you know to do things over and over again. So we realized really early and also this is kind of my style of shooting. I kind of shoot and edit as I go. So everything was kind of done in one take. And I remember one time um I was asking her a question that I had previously asked her again. And she said, Alison, you asked me that like 8 months ago. I don't want to, no, I've already answered that. Just let's move on. And then it just gave the whole film sort of this, living in the moment kind of feel to it. You don't feel like anything is really constructed, like how
Yes.
documentaries are now. It's like you sit in the chair, you can see everything has been manipulated. And sometimes I have to shoot that way for certain folks. But I just kind of took a, put on my hat as, early day documentarian, making music docs, and just shooting everything sort of like on the fly in the wall, one take. Let's just get it naturally and not be too intrusive on the story as it's unfolding.
Let's talk about the story itself because this is based on also not just on her career, but a very iconic song that
Yeah,
she released. And somehow this song started to go through in generations. And not
yeah.
just through generations, but genres, not just reggae, pop, hip hop, definitely a massive influence. Can you talk about how this song translated through all these genres, but also affected her career in a positive way and also a negative way?
Well, yeah, that is connected to, just doing a lot of research, when I realized that she had been sampled over and over again. Like I knew some of the songs, but then I did a deep dive and I did research on every single song from when it was put out to when we stopped filming, like who sampled her and what was the sample and all of that. And but a lot of this, you couldn't find the records, you couldn't find, there's no visuals, it's really, really hard. So we hired a really good music supervisor to sort of coordinate like, okay, what is real? What is not real? What do we have to get, who do we have to clear, this by if we use it? And, that person was Amy Fritz. And it just turned into, okay, you're doing the music clearance, but it's sort of like you also have to do the visual clearance at the same time because sometimes the music is in this old, reggae dance hall footage and that's the music that we want, but it's in there, but you have to kind of, get that, you have to get the visuals and the music together. So, that job, it could have been the job of like many people, but it became the job of one person. And, through the exploration of the footage and just the records, then we got more of the story, like who was involved, who were the producers and all that, and then finding out about like her producer, who it was, and his story. It just became sort of like this deep dive kind of part, you know, tribute doc, but part like investigative doc, and then I just kind of put all those together. I said, all of that is part of the story.
She lives a very modest life, even though we see that she's traveling. She's in recording studios. She's everywhere. I'm going to ask your opinion from what you have discovered. Did they rob her? Did they steal from her? Because um, for what this song has done for other artists in their samples, they have made millions and millions that should have been in her pocket, in my opinion.
Well, Sister Nancy would always say that she's satisfied. She's a very righteous person. She's really, she's good. She's good because you got to remember a lot of Jamaican dance hall artists, they're not getting anything. So
No.
at least, there's some kind of, retribution or she got her what she wanted. But if it was me as an artist, I would still be bitter. I would still be bitter. To be honest, I would still be bitter. But the music industry is just like that. People get ripped off all the time, and I'm just glad that she stood up for herself and that there's a lot to admire. She doesn't, she just wants to live in the moment. She just wants to live for the now and move forward. That's how she thinks.
Who are, don't you have to give me the full list, but who are some of the music moguls and celebrities that we see in this documentary?
Well, I am just so feeling so blessed at all the people who came through. We have, um, Cool Herc,
Mhm.
the Godfather, one of the Godfathers of hip hop. We have DJ Red Alert. We have Pete Rock, amazing. We have Main Source, a Canadian US hybrid hip hop band who was very, very successful. They're all in it. Janelle Monáe is in it. Renee Nufel from the group Jeanne is in it. There's so many people. There's Sister Carol, who's a queen, righteous queen, conscious of, reggae music. She's in it. We have Queen Ifrika and Tony Rebel is in it. Like this is the cast on this is incredible.
I gotta make sure I mention the other queen, Mishimi.
Oh, Missy Me. Oh, you know what? Missy Me is like my homegirl, right? She was actually my first documentary, my first big music documentary, Raising Cain, a rapumentary, and she came through, and I didn't know, how inspired she was by Sister Nancy, but then when she was talking about her, I got it. I
I
got it.
did too.
It was like, oh yeah, I get it now because she had a different fashion when she came out, like Missy Me, and it was so like Sister Nancy, and it's like, oh, I get the connection. So everybody in the film has a connection to her, and through the process of hearing from people, you kind of see some of their connections. Like most of the people, you see the connections to her.
No, and I absolutely agree with you with her because as soon as I saw her, I went, Bing! Now I get it. After all these decades, now I get it. What do you hope people are going to get from seeing this film?
I really hope that people are inspired like I am. I'm the director of the film, but just being an older woman, an artist, you kind of wondering like, should I be retired? Like what should I do? And that you see her still going, at her age and with such fire and veracity and you see her just not being afraid of just showing herself who she is and not trying to make everything perfect like these days you can't even most celebrities you can't film without them having their glamour squad around, right? She's just like so natural and just being yourself and enjoying life. So I want to bring that back. I want people to watch the film and bob their head and smile and have a good time. People have told me since we um, you had our world premiere at Tribeca that every time they watch the film, that they're just smiling through it,
Yeah.
and it's just one of those films that makes you feel good. Obviously, there you go up, there's hills and valleys in terms of her journey, but I just want people to have a good time and just be inspired.
Yeah, definitely, they definitely do. Where we can be able to see this in a whole. I saw when I watched it, and I'm going to let people know I got the sneak peek on this. I saw the words Crave. Is it going to be on Crave?
It will be on Crave. It's going to be on Crave um, later in February. And before that, it's going to be in Cineplex theaters across Toronto, starting January 31st. And, I'm just so grateful that people are going to be able to see it in the cinema because it's one of those films that you want to see with an audience too. You'll be laughing and
Oh
smiling
my
at certain spots.
goodness. I just thought to myself, two things. The color that we see in this film, and of course the music. Boom, boom. Oh
The
my
music is
goodness. That's going to be an experience to hear and see that in the theater. Oh wow, that's going to be
it's
great.
the music is pumping, the colors are coming at you, the graphics, everything is just it's an experience. I wanted people to experience the culture, experience what it's like to see Sister Nancy on stage
Hmm.
performing with all that energy. I just wanted it to have that plush feeling. So it's going to be in the cinemas, Cineplex theaters across Toronto, and then it's going to be on Crave, which is our amazing broadcaster for this project who just, came through. They saw the importance of the story, they saw the Canadian connections, and it's just really, really something. I'm very happy.
Amazing. Well, congratulations on this. Looking forward to your other works, but I gotta, even though I've already seen it, now I feel like I haven't seen it until I see it in the theater. So cannot wait for that. Thank you so much. And like I said, I'll see you in the theaters to see this. This is going to be amazing.
Thank you. Let me know when you're going so we can maybe meet up. All right.
Definitely.
All right. Bye. Thank you so much.